If you were to look at our world as a whole, you're going to find more or less three kinds of living areas: those who live in the country or isolated areas by themselves or with a small group of people. Then there are those who live in small towns with a couple hundred or thousand people at most. And then there are the big city livers that are places that have hundreds of thousands or even millions of people roaming around. And believe it or not, some of these places are really packed with people. So allow us to show you 10 of the most densely populated places on the planet. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 10. Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo is the capital of Japan, and people flock to the city since it's the country's political and business center. Not to mention a major place of Japanese culture where you can find just about anything if you know where to look. In addition to the many workers who call the region home, there is a thriving student population, thanks to more than a dozen internationally ranked universities. Young people move to Tokyo to further their education and stay for the available internships and jobs. Despite the crowds, the quality of life earns high marks for safety, public transportation, leisure activities, and culture. There are plenty of great places to visit in Tokyo while you're there, but if you want to go where things get really packed, you need to head to Shibuya in the Scramble Crossing. It's stated that this might just be the most packed place on Earth when the crowds are at their peak. It should also be noted, 33 million people live in Tokyo, Japan. Number 9. Porto Alegre. Porto Alegre, the capital of the southern state of Rio Grande do Sul, is one of 4 Brazilian cities among the most 50 densely populated metro areas. It is one of the nation's top regions for commerce and industry, as well as education and finance. And as the name suggests, it is a busy port, plus jobs in tech, agriculture, manufacturing, and more. The city lies on the eastern bank of the Gubaya Lake, usually referred to by the city population as Gubaya River, where 5 rivers converge to form the Lagoa dos Patos, Lagoon of the Ducks, a giant freshwater lagoon that is navigatable by even the largest of ships. Now, to their detriment, they were known as one of the most violent places on the planet in the last decade, but they have improved greatly in this, and so you can see why so many people are willing to go there despite the issues. Granted, it only has a population of 2.8 million, but they make up for it in just how packed the people are in that area. Number 8. Barcelona. Barcelona isn't too far behind Madrid when it comes to Spanish cities with the greatest population density. The capital of Catalonia is a beloved destination for tourists, with an estimated 30 million plus visitors taking to Barcelona's beaches, streets, and cultural sites in 2017. Though the out-of-towners pump billions of euros into the local economy, some residents, including elected officials, are declaring a strong preference for refugees over tourists, noting that migrants become a part of the community while short-term visitors destabilize it. Which, if you think about it, is actually very progressive, and something that not a lot of countries are even thinking about right now, despite the various things going on in our world. It should also be noted that when it comes to Barcelona, they have a very powerful fan base for their sports teams, especially their soccer football squad. So, between its popular sites and popular sports, you can see why so many people are willing to go there. Number 7. Taipei, Taiwan. So we started you out with some cities that are densely populated in their own right, but now let's get to some of the real heavy hitters, shall we? And this first one comes from a country you likely wouldn't expect, Taiwan. Though there is no doubt that Taipei is among the most densely populated places on Earth, there is some concern that the head count may actually begin to drop. A low birth rate and aging population are fueling fears of a future dwindling workforce and decline in productivity that could slow technical innovation and take a toll on the economy. And if you're wondering why these factors are an issue, it's because of their very tenuous relationship with China. They are technically independent, but it's everything but name. The United States and other nations have gone and tried to protect Taiwan overall, but they can only go so far with China right there. There are 5.7 million people in that country, and it's not a big country overall, so you can see why space is so tight. Number 6. Seoul, South Korea. When you think about Seoul, you think about the life and lights and luxury that is often associated with the capital of South Korea. But if you look deeper, you're going to see a very tight population in the literal sense. Low birth rates have caused Seoul's population growth to level off somewhat, but there's not likely to be much room to roam in South Korea's capital for the foreseeable future. The city's population density is about twice that of New York City, and 4 times higher than that of Los Angeles, which is rather crazy when you think about it, given that those two cities are known for dense spaces. The region has the distinction of having one of the best run airports in the world, Incheon International, which of course brings in all sorts of tourists to visit, so though this can be a problem as the population of the city is over 17 million. Number 5. Shenzhen, China. China as a whole is a place where many would likely think a lot of cities are densely populated, and you would be absolutely right on that, especially when it comes to Shenzhen. Now, there are lots of most associated with Shenzhen. Though it's not a capital city, it is the most densely populated region in China. It is also the location of 4 of the world's tallest buildings, and as of 2017, Shenzhen ranks 6th among cities with the most electric cars on the road. And as of 2017, Shenzhen-based Huawei was 49th on the list of the most valuable brands in the world. This isn't even mentioning the fact that China doesn't like to do anything small, especially when it comes to how they project their status to the world. In terms of round numbers, there are over 8 million people living in this city. Number 4. Lagos, Nigeria. The one-time capital of Nigeria, Lagos, is the most densely populated region in Africa. Among the reasons for the overcrowding is the influx of job seekers from rural areas and refugees from countries like Togo and Cameroon fleeing to the megacity. The cost of living in Lagos is among the lowest in the world, but the country as a whole has some of the poorest health statistics, including a life expectancy of just over 53 years of age, and an infant mortality rate of almost 67 per 1,000 live births. Now, you might think that this would drive people away from trying to live there, but when your options are few, you'll go to the place that at least has a chance to make things better for you and your family. Number 3. Karachi, Pakistan. We're sure this one will surprise you. The former capital of Pakistan, Karachi, is the most crowded city in the Muslim world. Migrants and refugees from Bangladesh, Burma, Uganda, Iran, and Afghanistan have moved into the area. Migrant workers from other regions of Pakistan add to the density. Though Karachi ranks among the least expensive cities for expatriates, it is also rated as one of the least livable, with a drop in standard of living likely according to a 2018 study. Basically, 10 million people live in a place where living is tolerable at best. Shows you just how much people want a place to at least call their own. Number 2. Kolkata, India. India is another country that is literally known for being overcrowded. Watch any documentary on India, or just watch The Amazing Race, they go there often enough, and you'll see just how packed it is. There's a lot going on in the planet's second most crowded megalopolis, Kolkata. In addition to being a financial and manufacturing center, Kolkata has a major port and thriving tech sector. Nevertheless, problems with severe air pollution, poverty, and infrastructure need to be addressed in the capital city of the West Bengal state. So this is very much a tale of 2 parts of the city, the part that is a business center and a part where people are just trying to survive. 12.7 million of them, to be precise. Number 1. Mumbai, India. See, I told you, India was packed. Tens of thousands of people find themselves packed into each square mile of the most crowded urban area on Earth. Regardless of the overall dearth of space, the good life is alive and well in Mumbai, which has one of the greatest populations of mega millionaires. From traffic congestion to huge landfills to breathtaking architecture, Bollywood movies and urban parkland, Mumbai is a city of contrasts and surprises, which can be reflected in its population numbers of over 14.35 million people live in just this one city. Welcome to our world. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the places on Earth that are literally packed with people? Were you surprised by some of these places in terms of their population density? Does it make you want to go to these cities and see for yourself just how populated they are? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.